Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. Today we're going to be looking at verses 15 and 16 in Psalm 135. I'm so glad you've joined me. This is organic, artisanally made Bible study, free of GMOs, free of MSGs, free of all that stuff. It's fresh. It's good for you. So we're looking at 15 and 16 today, and just full disclosure, these verses, actually 15 through 18, can be found in Psalm 115. So if you go back to Psalm 115, you'll have a fuller description of the idols. And Psalm 115 does a really good job of describing these. Some of that now comes over here into Psalm 135. You'll also find what sounds like verses 19 and 20 also in Psalm 115, and I dealt with that whenever we went through Psalm 115. It was a whole issue of trust that the psalmist was dealing with. Who do you trust? Do you trust your idols, or do you trust the Lord? Well, here we're praising God and not the idols because He's a living God. And so the same analogy of the idol and its lifelessness applied to trust in 115, here applied to God's greatness and our praise of Him in 135. It's a beautiful use, double use of the same imagery. Well, let me read for you today verses 15 and 16. The idols of the nations are silver and gold, the product of the hands of a man. They have mouths, but they do not speak. They have eyes, but they do not see. Does our God have eyes and a mouth? No, He doesn't. Because remember, He did not want us to make idols. And it's because He doesn't have a body like men. Now, we anthropomorphize our God, right? We say He has an ear and He hears, and we ask Him to incline His ear and listen. It says the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the earth. We have the anthropomorphication of what God does, but He doesn't have an eyeball, and He doesn't have an ear, and He doesn't have a nose, and He doesn't have a mouth, but He speaks, and He hears, and He sees. And you can be certain of that, friend. The idols of the nations, what do they have? Well, they're stylized like a man, aren't they? They look like men. They're made to look that way. I was just looking up some information on Artemis of the Ephesians, and she looked like a human female. She had hair and a nose and eyes and ears and a mouth and toes. She had arms and fingers and, all the rest. She was a beautiful lady, stylized in marble. But what did she do? Did she speak? No. Did she hear? No. Could she see? No. No, she was just the creation of some man. Somebody decided, hey, let's build an image of what we think our God looks like, and we'll put it here in this temple. In Artemis's case, it was in Ephesus, the grand temple, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. But where is it now? It's not. The temple is gone, the idol is gone, because there was nothing there to start with. It was just a grand illusion. And so these idols of the nations, silver, gold, they're just made by men, and they look like men, but they don't speak, and they don't see. But our God, yes, He does. He sees. He sees you right now where you are. And you know what? He's spoken. In times past, He spoke by way of the prophets. But now He speaks, or has spoken by His Son. Have you listened to Him? Because He speaks, and those words, ladies and gentlemen, are eternal words. Listen to Him today. Look to Him today. Call on Him. You remember what Moses told the people? He said, just look and live, when he erected the serpent on the pole. Well, all we have to do is point to that Jesus who was crucified on a cross and tell the world, look and live, because there is a God who is alive. He does hear, He does see, and He's watching you right now. Join me again tomorrow as we look at verses 17 and 18. We'll complete this idea of the idol here in verses 17 and 18 tomorrow on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.